The South Today Bulletin, proudly brought to you in association with MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Tonight on the South Today, a new Christmas ad hits small screens in the UK, featuring some recognisable Otago spots. A Christchurch pulls out all the stops with more flights and cruise ships set to bring an influx of tourists. And shredding the slopes down south pays off for young snowsports athletes as youth Olympic spots are revealed. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Simon Henderson. An international Christmas commercial is shining some festive lights on the South Island, with the UK health and pharmacy chain releasing its festive campaign online. The company shot this year's ad in parts of Dunedin and Otago, with the Dunedin railway station and Carey's Bay among the spots to look out for.
From the snowy mountains of central Otago to a picturesque fishing wharf in Dunedin, the South Island is starring on the small screen as part of this year's Christmas marketing campaign for UK health and pharmacy retail giant Boots. The big budget festive campaign ad follows the journey of a young girl who wants to give Santa a present, making her way through some prominent locations across the South Island, which stand in for wintertime England and the North Pole. Kind strangers help the girl and her mother on their travels, receiving presents in return for their generosity.
We really wanted to demonstrate that regardless of your budget, we've got something for everybody to give back to the givers in your lives.
The campaign was shot earlier this year in locations across Otago, including Cardrona's Snow Farm, Glenorchy, Arrowtown and Dunedin. Around 100 people were seen working on set along the Carey's Bay wharf in mid-September, with a number of large trucks holding costumes and filming equipment.
I really hope when people see this, they're going to fall in love with our lead characters, but also the story, a genuine, heartfelt story about giving joy at this special time of year.
Boots says its Christmas ad campaign will be screened across multiple platforms in the UK, giving British viewers a small glimpse into the scenic wonders of New Zealand's South Island. In Dunedin, the South Today.
It's all hands below ground in Dunedin City as construction of the new hospital build takes an important step forward. Work on laying a solid foundation for the new Dunedin Hospital inpatient building continued this week, with workers driving large foundation piles into the ground. Te Whatu Ora says the giant metal casings will be driven to around 30 to 40 metres deep. They'll then be filled with concrete to stabilise the build. The piling work is hoped to be completed around the middle of next year, with the inpatients building due to open in 2029. Meanwhile, the excavation work has also uncovered remains of an historical tannery on the site dating back to the 19th century. And steel assembly work is continuing on the outpatient building in the next block, with the structure towering over St Andrew Street. Christchurch is putting on its best face and gearing up for an expected busy tourist season this summer. With an increase in international air services and thousands of visitors expected for Show Week celebrations, local retailers are hoping to hear the tills ringing.
Racing to get ready. These contractors are frantically working to get the final stage of Christchurch's Cathedral Square makeover finished, in time for next week's Big Show Week festival. And the city's economic development arm, Christchurch NZ, is forecasting a very busy tourist season ahead for the Garden City.
The energy that they bring to the city, the vibrancy to the city, is incredibly important. It's important for locals to actually see the city bustling, and I think for the investors who have poured tens of $millions into bringing the city back, they actually need to see that we are now back on the map and that people are wanting to come here.
Lowe believes Christchurch is now firmly back on the international map after a 12-year lull following the earthquakes.
Christchurch is a destination in its own right. We're no longer seen as purely a gateway to the South Island. People are actually wanting to stop and stay here for a few nights at least, which is fantastic.
She says prior to the earthquakes, annual spending by international and domestic visitors in Christchurch was worth around $1.7 billion in GDP,
We are now back at about 1.2 billion. That for the economy is really, really important. So we haven't got back to where we were pre-earthquake, but we are well on the way.
China Southern Airlines has restarted its 3 flights a week service to Christchurch, and United Airlines is also scheduled to operate 3 more flights a week from December. Lowe reckons the central city is really starting to hum.
It's so vibrant. The extension of the tram route is fantastic. I think that the retail experience in Christchurch is second to none.
And while the agency admits it's hard to forecast tourist numbers for Christchurch this season, there's confidence that the extra flights and a busy cruise ship season will help ensure the Garden City enjoys a bumper summer. In Christchurch, the South today.
Clear skies gave International Space Station crews a perfect view of the South Island as it flew overhead this morning. The ISS crew posted this video on X, formerly Twitter, as they slowly passed over the South Island, name-checking the city of Dunedin, which was nice and visible. NASA says it takes the space station around 90 minutes to circle the Earth once, and it orbits our planet 16 times a day. Meanwhile, back on Earth, tourists were making the most of the sunny, warm day, including many taking photos of the newly refurbished Dunedin railway station. The wheels on the bus keep going round and round in Otago, with more people taking a chance on public transport. Figures from the Otago Regional Council show more than 850,000 passengers took the bus between July and September this year. That's an increase of 31% compared to numbers over the same period pre-COVID, and it's a similar story in Queenstown, where passenger numbers increased by 57% to more than 450,000 trips. The Regional Council spends almost $35 million a year subsidising public transport across Otago. Councillor Andrew Noon believes many people are choosing to take buses because of rising petrol costs, difficulty finding parking spaces and caring for the environment. He's also crediting an improved service and hopes passenger numbers continue to increase over the summer months. Carving up the snow down south has paid off for some young freestyle ski and snowboard athletes who are getting the chance to show off their skills on the world stage.
12 young snowboarders and skiers from across the country have been named to the New Zealand team for next year's Winter Youth Olympic Games in South Korea. Half the team comes from the Otago Southland regions, with Wanaka's Lucia Georgali and Campbell Melville Eves joining the snowboarding ranks alongside Tiano's Ava Beer. Georgali is the reigning 2023 snowboard slopestyle junior world champion. The rest of the team is made up of free skiers, including Lake Hawia's Luke Harold, Queenstown's Madeline Drisbro and Wanaka's Finlay Eves. The team is rounded out by Wanaka's ski cross athlete Campbell Apple. Further Kiwi selections for alpine, figure skating, luge and curling are still to be confirmed. The Winter Youth Olympic Games is due to take place in Gangwon, South Korea from mid-January next year. Across the South today.
E whai Akine still to come on the South today. Sowing the seeds for a greener future in Southland, and time to cross the street one last time for one Christchurch grandmother.
Massive sale final weekend! My mate John slashed 20 to 75% off everything, plus pay it off over 18 months interest free. This is your last chance to save 20 to 75% off Dunedin's biggest range of rock bottom warehouse priced furniture and beds. Massive sale final weekend! Only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street.
Where did you get that furniture from? Stafford Street. And my mate John.
such a sweet girl.
What are you dreaming about?
Just music.
The Power of Dreams by Honda.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Here at Age Concern Otago, we offer a range of services to support Otago seniors to age well with dignity and independence. We provide social work support, visiting service, health promotion and social activities. Check out what we have on offer at ageconcernotago.com.
Welcome back. A group of young Southland eco-warriors are sowing the seeds for a greener future while getting their hands dirty at their local reserve. The school project takes the children outside the classroom for a hands-on lesson in the environment.
Dipton school pupils have been planting native trees at the Clearwater Reserve, growing their knowledge and future. The young children were joined by parents, teachers and forestry workers last week, planting around 2,500 native plants.
Now we need to get all the dirt and we squish it all around.
It's all part of Dipton School's biodiversity project, which Principal Gordon Caddy believes teaches the pupils a number of skills.
Cooperating with others, self-esteem, managing the environment, like those are key things in our curriculum. So we don't really see getting out here as outside the curriculum, we see it as an absolute integral part of it.
The reserve's part of Brian and Christine Russell's farm at Castle Rock. They're planning to register this forestry block with the emissions trading scheme under the Dipton School's name.
It's a long-term project that the school has been working on for 5 or 6 years, and we're just trying to bring it to completion.
They plan to plant more trees in the gaps left by the pupils for the areas treated to give the plants the best chance to take off over the next few years. In Dipton, the South Today.
Helping children safely cross the road can be a risky task, but for one Christchurch woman, it's been her pride and joy. Lee Jewell has been keeping kids safe for 15 years, but the grandmother has now decided to hang up her giant lollipop.
Running the gauntlet as this plucky grandmother patrols one of the busiest intersections in Christchurch.
Red light, red light, red light, see them? Unbelievable.
For the past 15 years, Lee Jewell has been helping young children from St Albans School to safely cross the intersection of Westminster and Cranford Streets. But now the 70-year-old reckons it's come time to hang up her giant lollipop.
The winter's too cold for me. It's freezing here on the corner. So my family sort of said I have to stop.
She's planning to finish up her role in December, ending a more than 20-year association with the primary school, but she admits she will miss the children.
Seeing them as babies growing up into young adults all the way into high school.
Jewell started in the role as a volunteer, but the increase in students and traffic using the high-volume intersection meant the school upgraded it to a part-time paid position. She says the school's looking for somebody to replace her, but she warns patrolling isn't for everybody.
I was away for a week on holiday and the last person that took over for me wouldn't step out because they said it was too dangerous. that they let the children out, but they didn't step out. So you've got to walk out into the middle of the road.
And she says she'll still be available to help show her replacement the ropes.
We've got to find somebody first. There might not be anybody, and I still might be here next year.
However, retirement isn't going to slow down the hobbyist wood turner. She says she'll use newfound spare time to work on her handmade craft items business. In Christchurch, the South today.
Now, recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. UK retail giant Boots releases its new Christmas campaign featuring scenic locations from around Otago. Christchurch gets ready for a busy tourist season thanks to increased flights and more cruise ship visits. And 6 young southern skiers and snowboarders have been selected for New Zealand to compete at the Winter Youth Olympic Games in South Korea. Time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, mild northwesterly airflow will slowly increase over the region during the weekend. Heading to the top of the South Island, fine with light winds for Nelson and Greymouth, a high of 19 degrees. Christchurch is fine with breezy northeasterlies and a high of 18 degrees. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago, fine with breezy northeasterlies for Ashburton and Oamaru on 18 degrees. Timaru is looking fine with light northeasterlies, 19. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes, it's looking fine with moderate northwesterlies across the board, with Alexandra taking top spot on 23 degrees. Heading further south, moderate northwesterlies and fine for Balclutha, Gore and the Catlins. Looking across to Invercargill, fine tonight with a low of 5 degrees. Tomorrow looks fine with high cloud increasing during the day and northwesterly winds slowly freshening. Sunday sees northwesterlies with cloudy skies and a few showers developing later. And finally heading to Dunedin, tonight looks fine, a low of 5 degrees overnight. It's sunny and mild tomorrow with breezy northeasterlies. Sunday looks fine with high cloud increasing and warmer moderate north to northwesterly winds and a high of 24 degrees. That's the news this Friday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. Follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand, or follow us on Facebook, search for The South Today NZ to see our favourite stories from around the regions. We'll see you again next week. Matawa.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.
The South Today Bulletin, proudly brought to you in association with MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.